In this class we're going to talk about business strategy, and in particular we're going to talk about developing a vision and a mission for the business. Now, a mission was defined by Mintzberg as a mission describes the organization's basic function in society in terms of the products and services it produces for its customers. So it describes the organization's basic function in society. It's quite a loose definition. It doesn't really tell us a lot about the mission, but it comes from Mintzberg, so it's worth knowing. But it's not a very informative definition. Let's look at the mission statement. Well, a mission typically involves a brief overview of the company's present business purpose. So it's a brief overview of what the company is doing at the moment, essentially what the business is. It sets out the products and services and the target customers of the business. So it says what products it's producing, what services it supplies, and who are the target customers. A mission statement is mainly found in the company's annual reports of their website, normally in some high visible part of the documentation associated with the business. So normally we get it on the company website. A good business mission should include each of these. It should have the purpose of the business, the strategy and scope of the business, if you like, the nature of the business, how the business operates and its standards of behavior, and the values of the management. So a good business statement should make reference to each of those. Not a long reference to them, just perhaps a sentence, but something brief, but at the same time demonstrates each of those to the reader. So the reader is able to, if you like, figure out the business very quickly by reading the mission statement. Now, a purpose. Well, they state the purpose of the business, for example, to make profits or to for some other alternative. So the purpose of the business, well, that could be to make a profit, or some other alternative, to supply the good, to help the community, to promote an idea, whatever it is. The strategy and scope of the business. This is another one of the components of the business statement. Here the current competitive position should be specified, the company's competitive advantage, what are its core competencies, what are its abilities, what's unique about the business, what can it do that the others find difficult. Management determine the business strategic scope. This defines the boundaries of its operation. So the strategic scope of the business is what management set it out to be. The scope is how far into the market will it reach, how will it supply the market, how is it organized. So these sort of decisions are set out by management. Now, policies and standards of behavior. Well, a mission statement needs to be realistic and its performance needs to be monitored effectively. So the mission statement must be realistic, it must be believable, it must be credible, it must be realistic in what it's doing, in what it's setting out to do. And it must be capable of being monitored. Does it meet what it set out to do, or does it not meet what it set out to do? And how can it be monitored? So these are issues that needs to be addressed. So the mission statement becomes, if you like, effective. If it's not realistic, if it's an unrealistic mission statement, then it's worthless. Values and culture. Well, business values are based on the beliefs of the people who work in the business and their culture. So it's quite logical. The business itself does not have values. It doesn't have principles. It only has the values and principles of the people who work in the business and who control the business. It is their values and beliefs that determines the course of the business. But here, in terms of values and culture, what the business is looking at, what the mission statement could pick up is the business principles, the reputation of the business, the image and the quality of the product, the image of the business itself, the image of the product, and the quality of the product, the reputation, and so on. It could look at the loyalty and commitment to employees and to customers. How well does the business treat its workers, and how well does the business treat its customers? And what guidance does it have on expected behaviour? So the mission statement, very important, and it should make some reference to these components. Now let's move on to look at the strategic vision. Well, let's start with a vision statement. It describes the company in the future. Where will the business be in the future? It's a vision. It's imagination, but it's not idle imagination. It's imagination based on business calculations, business projections, business ideas. It's based on entrepreneurship. So, describe the business in the future. It shows what the company aspires to be in the next, say, 3 to 10 years. Where will the business be? And because it does that, it provides the basis for future strategic planning. The vision comes first, but once the vision is in place, once the management have decided where the business will be, where they want the business to be in, let's say, 10 years' time, then strategic planning can be put into place in order to move the business towards that vision. A strategic vision guides the business to a particular strategic path and forms the identity of the business. If it doesn't have a direction, the business is seen as confused and not going anywhere. So it must have a strategic vision, it must have a strategic path, a preferred strategic, but there may be many paths going to the vision, but it must have a preferred strategic path, the one which it selects. And that gives the business direction, and the stakeholders can see where the business is going, so they can relate to the business. People like to know what they're aiming at, where they're going. They don't just like to drift along. So the workers, the management, the shareholders, the wider stakeholders indeed, they like to know where the business is going, what they're trying to do. The vision suggests the future course of the business and the way to achieve its goals. That's what the vision sets out. It's where the business wants to be and how to achieve them. So the vision serves as a framework for a roadmap for the business. It sets a framework, it sets the course for the business, the pathway for the business, the roadmap, if you like, for the business. It guides the business. It describes what the business needs to be accomplished, what needs to be accomplished in the business. A strategic vision may include the following. The portfolio may anticipate and satisfy customers' desires and needs. So it must have a product portfolio, and it must anticipate and satisfy the customer's desires and needs. If it's not meeting customer needs, it won't have sales. No sales, no revenue. No revenue, no profits, no business. So the portfolio must anticipate and satisfy the customer's desires and needs. The vision should talk about partners, develop a network of customers and suppliers that share the same values. It's far better if the suppliers see the vision and agree with it and want to be a part of it, want to subscribe to it. And the customers like the direction the business is moving in. So they want to be associated. They want to be loyal to the business. The strategic vision creates a loyalty. It should be green. It should show responsibility to the environment and help build and support sustainable production techniques. It's becoming an ever-increasing issue, the environmental issue. And it's important that businesses take it on board and factor it into all the parts of planning so that it's an inbuilt component. The business should be environmentally friendly. It should cut down on wastage. It should cut down on resources if possible. It should use energy effectively. Profit. Balance the requirements of shareholders with the wider stakeholder base. There's tension here. The tension is between shareholders wanting profit and stakeholders wanting a business which is more integrated into the environment, more integrated into the community, more caring, more innovative, stable, subscribing to the wider aspirations of the community and of the people, meeting the needs of its workers, meeting the needs of its customers, and doing so in an environmentally friendly manner. So there's a balance to be struck. To generate maximum profits, let's say the business managers would have to operate in a totally different fashion, have to reduce costs, perhaps not have such a caring attitude towards its workers, try and cut wages and salaries, work longer hours, have more discipline in the workplace, and so on and so on. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, it's creating a business which is sustainable, efficient, at the same time meets all of the objectives of the shareholders and balances with the stakeholders. So that's a tricky one to achieve, but that's the problem facing business. The strategic vision should show how the business will be productive. It should be efficient and lean and innovative. Efficient. It should be least cost. It should be deploying the best technology, the best working practices, so that the maximum outputs are achieved for given inputs. And it should be innovative. It should be looking for new ways of working and developing the product itself. And people. Develop a working environment that motivates, inspires and includes the workforce in the business direction. The business in many respects is the business, is the people. The people are the business. It's without people, without workers, without management, there is no business. There are premises and machines, but nothing is happening. And the people who work there are not machines. They need to be motivated, they need to be involved, they need to be inspired, they need to want to look forward to going to work. And they need to know about the business direction and be involved in the business. So the strategic vision includes these 6 components, and it must incorporate these 6 components to be a good strategic vision. Now, to conclude this session, I just want to give a little map of what we call the strategic intent. Strategic intent is what is intended for the business. It's the bit at the very start. It's before the business. It's before anything happens. It's what is the intention in terms of business. And the intention is worked out in terms of the mission statement. And it's the vision for the business. Where does the business want to be? So these 2 components. And out of the 2 components, and out of the intent itself, we get the aims. And out of the mission, we get the aims and objectives. And out of the vision, we get the aims and the priorities. What needs to be done. And we can work our way through the strategic network, if you like, until we get to decision criteria and strategic initiatives and the strategies themselves. So what have we done in this session? Well, we've looked at the mission statement and what it's about, and we've looked at strategic vision and looked at the components of strategic vision. So we have done 2 parts. And I think that would conclude all we need to say on mission and vision. So let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.